Good morning, everybody. Welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the Q&A show today. This is, of course, the first and only live daily photo show on YouTube every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Hey, guys, thanks for tuning in last week when I was in Portland. That was super cool, super fun to be hanging out with the live streaming pros guys and doing a show from their studio. That was a blast. It was a long show, but given the feedback in the comments, it seems that you guys enjoyed it and appreciated it. It was really fun doing the show. Not just me. It's enjoyable to have someone else there. It means I can talk less, which is, I'm sure a lot of you are thinking, thank God, finally. So today's show is the Q&A show. We are going to just go run this one straight through because the questions are fairly simple and brief, so we're just going to run straight through and we'll timestamp the actual questions in the comments below. So if you're looking for the answer to your question and you don't have time to watch the whole thing, scroll down, find your question listed. There will be a timestamp for that. Before we get started, of course, though, let's just see what's going on in the chat room this morning, as there are lots of people chit-chatting away. I see Serge in here. I see Bart Johnson. And I think at some point Bart apologized for this huge conversation they're having. Dude, that's fine. I love it. I love that I log in and there's already people having a huge conversation before I even got here. I think that is so cool. Jim Horn is there. Showtime. Yes, we started just a wee bit late, Jim. We had a little... That whole audio delay thing came back again. It's really weird. I'm going to have to email Blackmagic and ask about this. And Shiva Kumar from India, so cool, awesome. And IC Entertainment from London, and John Morby. Everybody's here. Yeah, this is great. I love it, love it. Okay, so before we start the show, I got to tell you something kind of funny, kind of interesting. So, you know, whenever you do YouTube stuff, YouTube has this incredible algorithm thing running where they will. They're looking for copyright infringement, right? And they've got this database of music and I guess somehow fingerprint patterns. I don't know how this crap actually works, but they locate, oh, look, your song, your video has copyrighted material in it. Excuse me, and it can happen remarkably quickly. And usually when it comes up and I get an email that says, oh, you copyright infringement, you can't have this on there, it's usually because I'm doing a test. It's videos that have never gone live. They've been test videos, and we're always playing music in the studio when we're not recording, and so that gets picked up in the background. It's incredible. It can be this really faint background song, but there's some commercial song in the background, and it picks it up, and it fingerprint IDs it, and whatever, and it says, hey, copyright violation. Now, obviously, never a problem, just delete it and off you go, because the video is never for public consumption anyway. But over the weekend, I got one. Then I go, okay, I've gotten this before, and it's filing a copyright claim against music that I use as background music when I do my live training stuff, my PhotoOps.expert live training. And it's this track that I have on constant loop, which it should, yeah, here we go, this. So this is a track that I created in GarageBand on the iPad, and it's so funny because it's like, I zero musical talent, right? Just none. And GarageBand for iOS got a major update, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago, and it had these really cool loops in it. And it was, I gave it to my kids and they're like, oh, they're having a blast with it. And I'm going, wow, anybody can make music. And, you know, not good music, believe me. And so I just kind of, you know, did a bunch of this. It was like eyes closed, kind of hit a bunch of things and go, wow, that's kind of cool. I like it, I'm going to use that. And that was something I created very quickly just to have as a temp track, and I never got rid of it. It's just on constant play. So that's what got a copyright claim against it. I'm going, okay, this is ridiculous. And I know that before it had come up and I said, this is original music, stop it. And I don't even know what happened with that. So then this came up again, same thing. And I'm going, are you serious? So I dug into it a little bit. Okay, I got to share this with you because this is crazy. All right, so here's the video. So it showed up on this MacFun Luminar overview that I did, which has gotten quite a few views because it was a freely available whole live training session. And you see on here it says, reason for dispute, this video, or sound in this case, is my original content. I own all the rights to it. So claims to dispute, Frankie Tellup Chill Out, sound recording administered by CD Baby. Okay, so I'm going, well, hey, Google, what is that? So I searched it in Google. And I find this Back 9 by Frankie Tellup, and there's the track, Chill Out. Okay, now, you ready for this? Listen. Sounds kind of similar, doesn't it? Like, really similar? I'm going, now I'm going to get a copyright violation because I actually played his music. So I'm like, hold on a second. So I go back and I pull up my original audio file. And I couldn't find it. And I remembered, this morning I remembered, oh my God, I did this on my iPad. It wasn't on the desktop. So I pull up my iPad and I'm doing this now. So if anybody questions this, I've got proof. Here's the iPad track. Here's the thing that I created. Here we go. And it's not playing. Oh, wait, got to iOS audio on. Here we go. It's the same stupid track. So I bought Frankie Tellup's track this morning. I bought it so I could drop him on a timeline and compare him. Because now I'm thinking, maybe I got ripped off. I don't know how that would happen. And it's the same loops. There are sections that are remarkably similar, but when you put them side by side on top, they are not the same. There are different, he introduces different instruments at different points, but especially the sample that's on there, the free sample, is remarkably similar. So I sent an email to CD Baby saying, guys, this is ridiculous. And let's see what happens. I hope I don't have to send a lawyer after him to tell him to stop following. I don't want anything from them. They didn't steal it from me, but if they're going to keep coming after me, then, time to lawyer up. But this is just, it's so funny. I just thought that was hysterical. So I had to share that with you guys this morning because that was how I spent my morning, chasing this down going, are you kidding me? Remarkable stuff. Anyway, that is what that is all about. So let's see what else is going on here in the chat room, and then we're going to jump into the actual questions that we have. By the way, folks, if you're watching live, remember that if you want to get my attention in the chat, just type @PhotoJoseph in front of it. That way it highlights nice and big and red on my screen, and I know that you're trying to ask me a question. And of course, if you really, really want to get my attention, there is that little super chat button, that little dollar sign down there on the bottom next to the smiley face. They appropriately go together. If you hit that super chat button, that will absolutely get my attention. So that's that. So if you want to get my attention, you know how to do it. All right, let's see here. There's a question about GH5, so we'll come back to that. We're going to do the official Q&As first. And Sheila's responding to this. Sheila says, I have a similar problem with 2 videos that use music I paid for 7 years ago, and now I can't find the documentation on it. Ugh. So those claiming rights are getting paid for my plays. Ugh, that sucks. That really sucks. Yeah, I guess if you're going to license music, you got to keep that license. I mean, that's legit. That's fair. Matt's, we're going to come back to that. Matt, copy and paste your question in with an @PhotoJoseph in front of it so I can find it when I come back through to the actual to the Q&A part of the show. I want to jump into the questions that we have all queued up. I'm going to try and do this without knocking my iPad over. And that copyright violating creating iPad there. My goodness, how could it? And let's get into the actual questions. So let's see here. Bring up Mr. Keynote. So again, we are not going. What was that? Okay. Why am I getting an echo? Oh, it's this camera. Right. Aha, there we go. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to figure out where the heck that echo came from, and I remembered. This is why I have all these presets created. Okay, where was I? We've got 3 questions that came in as questions in comments over the last whatever week it was, and they're not too long, not too many of them today, so this will go fairly quickly. Let's go to Keynote and make sure it's the right first one. All right, here we go. Where's the right slide? This one. So this is a kind of a 2-parter, 2 different people, the same issue. Eric Nieto and Tyler Winnfield, both commenting on the same thing. Eric says, I had also problems with the monitor dimming. When I'm in the monitor brightness 1 star, the monitor dims down a little bit, a couple minutes after no touching any button. Okay, clearly English not first language, that's fine. And I have all the settings as you have shown, because I did do a video a while ago talking about the brightness dimming settings. We'll try to link to it here. I don't remember if it was embedded in another one. If we find it, we'll link to it. If when I do that, nothing happens, then sorry, but it doesn't matter. We're going to go over it all again right now. And then Tyler said this is a big dimming problem. Monitor luminance mode 1 is bright, but the monitor automatically returns to standard brightness if no operations are performed for 30 seconds when recording. All right, so I tagged both of those because this has come up before. I went through the settings on the camera, how to set it so it doesn't dim, and yet these both came up after that saying, it's not working, it's dimming. So I'm going to show you again the settings. I've tested this morning. I went through and I left the camera not recording on for several minutes and recording on for several minutes. I did it in photo mode, I did it in video mode, and the monitor never dimmed one bit. So I don't know what the problems are, but again, I'm going to show you the way the camera's set up, and this should make that problem go away. Now, clearly, if you're having your monitor not dim ever, this is an energy consumption issue, right? So this is part of the energy economy. It's called the economy settings in the camera. So let's get this thing set up right. Let's go into here, and if I go to the main wrench mode, so this is what it's called, I always forget. This is setup, so not the custom one, but the setup, so the wrench without the C on it. And then on page 2 of 4, you have economy. I have set this where everything is off. Sleep is off, sleep mode is off on Wi-Fi, auto LVF monitor is off, and power saving is off. So all of these are set to off right now. That should be pretty self-explanatory there, that when these are off, the monitor should not dim. And it doesn't. And just to kind of belabor, figure out these buttons. Just to belabor this, I also went into the monitor luminance, which I normally would have set to auto. Well, you're not going to see any difference on the output there, but this gives you different levels of brightness on the screen. And I set it to 1, as noted in one of the comments, but I've done this with auto as well. And actually, I shouldn't say I've done it with auto. I have not tested, I didn't test this morning the brightness settings in auto, but it shouldn't change, because that's what I normally have it set on, is auto. But I changed it this morning for one star, which is the brightest, by the way. I set it for the 1 brightest setting because that's what one of the comments had said. So again, we've got the 1 star brightness on there, and in economy, everything is off. And with those settings, the monitor did not dim. Recording, not recording, video mode, photo mode, left it on for several minutes, 10 minutes at one point, maybe longer, and brightness did not dim. It's going to chew through your battery, clearly. It's going to use more battery, but that's the setting. So if you're doing that and you're still seeing your monitor dim, please let me know, because maybe there's some other setting that I'm not finding, but that is my experience. If I would want the monitor not to dim, that's what I do. And I actually have it set this way right now because I'm doing the training recordings on the GH5, and I'm doing some over-the-shoulder shots where the output isn't appropriate, and I have it set to that, to not dim, because I don't want it to dim. So there you go. So that's that. Hopefully one of these settings wasn't on for Eric or Tyler, but that is the way that it is set up. That's the way it works, and I don't know what else to tell you. So that's that. Next up, Swing Away says, I'm just an enthusiast and primarily a still shooter, but dabble in video. Do I need vlog? I thought that was a tremendously awesome question. The answer is no. Simple no. This is part of why vlog is a separate purchase. To use vlog appropriately, to use it adequately, to get the most out of it, something in there, you got to work for it, right? This is not a gimme. This is something you got to work for. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to expose the shot properly, because the exposure settings are different than they are when you're shooting non-vlog. And then you get a file that you absolutely 100% have to grade in post, and you have to know how to grade it properly. So if you don't know how to expose properly for vlog, and you don't know how to grade properly for vlog, what you're going to end up with is a bunch of mush. It's going to be footage that looks like crap. And this is one of the reasons that Panasonic makes this a separate add-on, because if it was in there for free, people would go, oh, I heard that vlog is the best mode to shoot in. I'm going to go shoot in vlog, and then they get crappy footage, and they call up Panasonic to say my camera's broken, I'm getting crappy footage. No. If you have the money, if you have the need to buy vlog, to use vlog, and you spend $100 to buy it, you're doing it because you know what you're doing. And so odds are you're not going to call Panasonic and say my footage looks like crap. I'm sure this is still going to happen, but that is part of the general idea. So vlog is not something that you need unless you know that you need it. If you're just casual shooting, absolutely not, don't use it. There are tons of really great color profiles in the camera. I love shooting in like the vivid mode, for example. It's super poppy, punchy, contrasty, saturated. I love it. I love that look out of the camera. Beautiful. Don't have to grade anything. It looks fantastic. Vlog is only when you really want to put the effort into shooting it and grading it in that way. Now, there are certainly advantages to vlog. You gain a couple stops of dynamic range, but you really got to know what you're doing. So that is the simple answer to that question. All right, let me take a look at the comments real quick before we go to the next question. There's one more in here to talk about. And let's see if there's anything that was related to what we just talked about. Monitor, Sully, I think I just answered your question. You said, are you choosing monitor mode 1 or 2? When you say monitor, then we're back to the brightness dimming one. You're talking about the brightness settings, I assume. But if that's not what you're talking about, then let me know, because maybe I am missing something, which would be great to know. Great to figure that out here. Okay, that's it that is related to what we're doing. So let's move on to the last one here, which came in as an email, which again, I would like to reiterate, folks, as much as I love to hear from all of you all the time, emails are not the best way to reach me with questions. I get a lot of emails now with questions about the GH5, mostly about the GH5, and if I take the time to respond to your email, then I'm responding to one person, only one person benefits from it. If you post your question as a comment on a YouTube video, I can either comment there to reply or address it in one of these shows, and then everybody can benefit from it. If you want private one-to-one support, I'm available. You can hire me for that, but for questions, general questions that you've got about GH5, just put them as a comment in the YouTube video, or anything. Put them as a comment in the YouTube video. You can ask me anything. Anything you want. I may not answer it, but you can ask me anything you want. Put it in a comment in the YouTube video. Please don't send private emails, because I'm getting to the point where I'm going to start ignoring them, because I'm getting a lot of them. I have an autoresponder that says, please post it there, but just please, I would appreciate that. Okay. This one, however, came as an email, but it wasn't a question. This was giving me some feedback on something that they had discovered that I kind of erred on in a video, I guess. So super duper, thank you for sharing this with me. And here we go. This came from Gilbert in Spain. Gilbert says, since you had problems with deleting of files while shooting, this is about the animation time-lapse stop motion video that I did. Since you had problems while shooting, I tried it. Deleting files while shooting, I tried it, and it looks like you can delete the files still when going into play mode before having produced the film yet. You can, like usual, click play, and it shows the various shots from there, and you can delete single shots. It works on the FZ2000, so I figured it ought to work on the GH5 as well. So before I even pulled out the GH5 to test it on, I grabbed my FZ1000, which is the previous model of the FZ2000, and I tried it here, and it worked. So I was doing it in a stop motion animation, and then I played it back, and I went through frame by frame, and I was able to delete a single frame. So I thought, well, why couldn't I do that on the GH5 earlier? So we're going to try it again. I was going to actually try it before the show started, but then I ran out of time. So let's just actually try this right now. So let's go into, let's get out of movie mode, go into still picture mode, and I'm going to go into time-lapse animation, and we're going to do stop motion animation. Perfect. And you put the camera on the top dial into that mode. And I'm going to shoot. So there's one. I'm going to move this around a little bit. Shoot, 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 shoot. I know it's out of focus. That's the intention, just so there's nothing there. Okay, so there's my stop motion animation. I'm going to hit the play button, which, let's bring it back to me while the screen resets. This is actually going to be interesting to see if I can do this in the video out. Let's go back to this. So now I'm playing through individual steps. There we go. So it's playing through the individual steps. If I hit delete, which is FN4, it does allow me to delete a single. So I don't know why I couldn't do this before. I'm not quite sure what the difference was. There are different playback modes. So you'll see down on the bottom left, it says submenu up and down is play. If I hit the submenu up, it takes me to sequential play, so I can play from the first picture, and then it plays through the stop motion I just created, which is obviously brilliant. If I push down, it goes straight into the play mode, I suppose. Down again. It's like just down into play mode. That's kind of weird. Oh, there, and it plays again. So, okay, so now we're in the play mode. So I think this is where I was before, but if I go into sequential play, pause it, go forward and back, is this the one where I can delete? See, now I can't delete. This is what happened before. I got into this situation, and I couldn't do it. But see, now that I'm in the situation where I've got the option to go up or down, up into the submenu or down into the play menu, now I can left and right arrow through to choose a different frame, and then just hit the delete button on the camera and delete the single frame. And then we can delete that one. So that's the solution to that. So the problem I had before, as far as I can remember it, is I was trying to do it while in one of those other playback modes, and basically I was overthinking. I was trying too hard. You just need to just hit play, and you're in that step through one frame at a time mode, and from there you can delete it. So thank you very much, Gilbert, for sharing that with me. That's awesome, because that was one of those weird, I'm sure you can do this things, and now we know that you can. So thank you very much. All right, let's see here. We are going to jump into the questions that are showing up as comments in just a moment here. But before we do that, I do want to remind you of a couple of things, like the GH5 training, which is not quite finished recording yet, probably about 2/3 of the way done. Editing has begun. I have a couple of clips that are ready to share, which I plan on sharing today. They look fantastic, if I may say so. I think it's coming together really, really nicely. It's funny, you know, I've produced these kind of videos before with the crew, with the Lynda crew, and obviously having a crew is just awesome for many, many reasons. But doing it on my own, I've really come to appreciate just how involved the setup is. Because when I showed you the setup, whatever that was, like 2 weeks ago now, turns out that was about half setup. I still had a lot of setup to do. And then normally what would happen when I'm shooting these is before I shoot the next video, whatever we're shooting next, I really go through and I plan it. I block it out. Okay, so I need, all right, let's set the camera up like this. I'm going to need these props. I'm going to do this, and I think through my head, okay, I'm going to go here to here to here. No, that doesn't work. Let's go here to here. Okay, so I block the whole thing out. And often when doing this, the camera crew decides, okay, we're going to shoot a different angle. We're going to move the camera over here. Let's shoot from this. Let's do that. Change this light. And of course, now I'm having to do that all on my own. So it takes at least twice as long to set up every shot before I can record it. Because I'm going, okay, so if I'm doing this, showing this here, I can't do that on the video out, so I got to move a camera over the shoulder. But then I want this view, so I'm going to have to do it twice because I only have 2 cameras and 3. And anyway, so it adds up. So it's taking a while to record, but we're still on schedule for a June 15th delivery to Linda. And of course, the first videos as they finish editing, as they complete editing, will be released to those who are pre-ordering. So again, you can pre-order at gh5training.com. You can pre-order at a significant discount. So if you are interested in the GH5 training, now is the time to get it, because once the videos are all done editing, the price will of course go up to full price and no more discount. So if you're interested, please do consider grabbing that sooner rather than later. And that's that. Okay, let's go into the questions here. Let's see what's going on. All right, let's see if, actually, let's see, where, oh, scrolling all over the place. Hey, and by the way, I think it was Burns Tech shot me, or maybe it was Bart. One of you guys sent me an email or a message saying, why don't you set up can you set up the screen here so that we can see the comments on the side as you're talking, yeah. And yes, I can, because the whole problem with the comments, they go away after the live show, the conversation goes away after the live show, the live chat, that's what it's called. And yes, I can include that. And I tested it and I absolutely can. I just need to build a bunch of presets so that I can switch seamlessly between them. But you're right, I had thought of that at some point, and I don't know why I never did it. So I am going to do that. I'll try and do that today, actually, so it's ready for tomorrow's show. I was going to do it for today's show, but ran out of time. This whole copyright thing distracted me. Okay. Let's see now if Sully has confirmed about this monitor 1 or 2 thing. Let's see, scrolling through, looking for Sully's with an @PhotoJoseph. Sully, I didn't see an @PhotoJoseph, so if you did respond to that, please @PhotoJoseph it so I can find it. All right, let me go back to the very beginning of the conversation here, very beginning of the chat, and let's see what's been going on in here. Okay, so Salvatore Troia says, hi, little question. Is it normal that the GH5 has no autofocus in the slow motion mode, or am I doing something wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. When you're in slow motion, in the VFR mode, variable frame rate mode, you do not have autofocus. That is normal, that is expected, and that is the way that it works. So the answer is no, it's not. It is normal, you're not doing anything wrong. Matt Long says, has anyone heard about Panasonic releasing a memo saying the autofocus will be just as good, if not better, than other competitors? So yeah, I saw that article. I actually haven't finished reading it. It was really long. It was a conversation with the president, I think, of Panasonic Japan. And the parts that I read, basically he was saying, like, that's what they're working towards, that's what they're working on, confirming what I had released as that official Panasonic announcement, which we'll link to right here if you haven't seen that. That official Panasonic announcement of how to set the autofocus to get the best performance, and basically that they will continue to try to make it better. I would say he's just confirming that. You know, it's easy to say, oh, we'll be better than everybody else. Take it for what it's worth. He's saying, I think, reading it, he's saying we're going to make this better than it is. So that would be, you know, obviously any improvement would be welcome. Is it going to be better than every other camera out there? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I don't work at Panasonic in Japan, so I have no idea what they've got going on internally. But obviously that would be great. That would be really nice. But you know, read the article, take it for what it's worth. I think that I think it's a sign that they are working on it and good things are coming. But I wouldn't go any farther than that with it. Okay, next up, let's see here. Scrolling, looking for comments. Marvin P., I did have a good weekend. Thank you. I spent the entire weekend in here shooting. But it's because I took Thursday, Friday off to go to Portland. But Saturday, Sunday, I was in here. Oh, man, it's like while I'm scrolling, it just decides to snap down to the bottom. Marvin P.A. says, can you show how to set up time-lapse for a landscape of an extended period of time? We did a whole video on the time-lapse setup, didn't we? Did we do a time-lapse setup? I think we did. Didn't we do a time-lapse thing? I'll recap it here very briefly. I'm pretty sure we did this, but let me just do it super brief, super quick. Time-lapse setup thing. Okay. Here. Okay, so, well, first of all, you have to set the camera into the time-lapse mode, which is the top dial all the way to the last setting. That's your time-lapse mode. And then you go into While that mode is up, you see on the right-hand side there's a, wrong button. You see on the right-hand side there's a little stack of images with a 1. If I tap that, it takes me into the time-lapse/animation mode, so I'll set that to time-lapse shot. Start time can be now, or I can set it to whenever I want to. So if I'm doing sunset, let's say it's, we'll do like, I don't know, it's late, so let's do like a 7:30 p.m. start. I hit set, start time. What are the interval that I want to shoot? Maybe I want to do like 10-second intervals, and I want to shoot, let's do 1,000 pictures. And that tells me at the bottom there it will end at 10 p.m. So that's probably a little late. It doesn't take that long to go down. Let's do like 600 pictures. That'll end at 9 p.m. That should pretty much wrap it up. I hit set, and that is all ready to go, right? So now we're ready. I push the button to take the picture, and it powers down. And why does it power down? Because it knows that it's going to need to take a little nap before 5:30 p.m. comes around, when it can start shooting that time, or 7:30 before it can start shooting that time lapse. So it'll automatically power down and then wake up when it's time to do it. I know we did a video on this. I used the whole LX100. We're going to link to that up here. I did a whole video on that. Okay, Sully, auto EVF monitor settings being on. That's what you're talking about. Okay, so in the test that I did, I haven't changed that. So let me wake the camera back up now that I put her to sleep. Get out of the time-lapse mode, cancel that. So I was in normal shoot mode, I was in video mode, and I had the camera in auto. So when I ran all my tests this morning with the EVF, was it dimming? And it was not. It is on auto switch between the viewfinder, wrong way, and the viewfinder. See, if I do that, it turns off. Right. So that was on auto. I have not changed that since I did my test this morning, so that was on auto. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? That's it. That is all there is to it. All right, guys. Super. Thank you. That was fun. That was a fun little quick Q&A session. Hey, do you know what tomorrow is? No? Tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of this show. Can you believe that? 1 year. The first show I did from the car to Facebook Live, because remember it was on Facebook for the first like 7 or 8 months or something, maybe even longer. I did it from the car like this. I wasn't driving. I was down in LA. I was going to photograph my godfather who was passing. And so I went down to photograph him. And it was an odd kind of a first photo moment to do, but I had committed to doing it. And then that came up. I said, this is what I'm going to do. And so it was a selfie video from the car. I think I probably had 2 viewers. And that was it. That was the first photo moment. And it has gone from there, which is crazy to think of how much it has changed and grown in just a year. So tomorrow, I'm planning something kind of special, I think. We'll see. I've got a lot of work to do this afternoon to prep for it, to make sure that I'm really, truly ready to do what I want to do tomorrow. So I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, just in case I change my mind. But I will, I expect to do something fun and cool. And if not, then I'll just sit here and drink whiskey and answer questions. I don't know. We'll do that. That'd be fun. Oh, that'd be fun. No, we're not going to do that. So that's tomorrow's show, is the 1-year anniversary, so we're going to try and do something special. Thanks for tuning in for all this time. That is so cool. Oh, and just another, Marvin, I just saw your question again about the time-lapse thing. One of the cool things about if you do a long-term time-lapse, long delay between, I don't know what the threshold is, but if the camera needs to be off for a certain amount of time, or a certain amount of time between shots, the camera will go back to sleep and wake up again. So if you're doing like a, once a day type of a thing, it won't just stay on. It'll keep going back to sleep and waking up, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, so I think that is Build Producent. I guess that's what that is. Film, video, photos. As I heard, an update is coming soon which improves the autofocus. Any news? The only update that is public is the one that I gave, and then now this interview with the president of Panasonic, which is just an interview, a conversation. But the only official announcement is the one that I gave, which I already linked to up there. If you missed it, click the little eye up there. It'll be there again. And that is that. Okay. Yes. Bart says we should have a Google Hangout party so everyone can celebrate in their respective computer caves. Ooh, I'd like that idea. How many people can you do in a Google Hangout, though? Isn't it limited to 10? That'd be fun. Which is actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. For those who are supporting me on Patreon, for those who are contributing at the, I forget now, 2nd or 3rd level up, but it's like the, is it $10 level? I think $10 and up level. We will do, and I'm going to start doing this week. There you go, Patreon. We will do a private Q&A session So it'll be a Google Hangout is the intention. We haven't done it yet, so that's what I'm going to try and do it with, so that we can all come together and chit chat, and you can ask anything you want. But it is a small private thing, and that video will not be made public. That will only be for the Patreon providers. So if you are hankering for a one-on-one and you want to ask some questions live, then that is a great way to do it. But I do like this idea of doing a Google Hangout party. I'll have to see how many you can do. I really don't know how many you can have on at once. And Bart says, you don't have any meetings tomorrow, a little whiskey at noon, never hurt anyone. Well, I agree with that. And on that note, we're going to sign off of here, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for the 1-year anniversary show. Bye-bye.